to A Well-Designed Business. My name is Luann Nigara, and I'm so glad you found this podcast. Together with my husband Vince and our partner Bill, we have grown our company WindowWorks from the ground up. So I know and I understand the challenges you face in running your interior design business. I also know that your talent alone isn't enough to ensure your success. So on this podcast, we talk about strategies and practical steps to help you grow your business. But make no mistake about it, we have our share of fun here too, mixed in with those aha moments that I love so much. This isn't fluff. Nobody has time for that. Whether you are a new interior designer or a seasoned designer, I am here to help you create and to manage the kind of interior design firm that you dream of. It's straight talk and it's action. Are you ready? Let's get started. Hi, welcome to A Well-Designed Business. It is another What Would Lou Do show, and today we are continuing our series on year-end on the different areas of business that we have to cover and review and plan and strategize for as we head into a new year. Today, we are going to talk about our marketing. Okay, I'm going to start this show with a line from one of my partners at Exciting Windows, Steve Wishnow. Steve says, always be marketing. No matter what kind of firm you have, no matter how large or how small or how busy or how slow you are, always be marketing. You've heard me quote Steve on the show before. He is 100% right. Okay, this is how you're going to manage and project your income, right? Because if you only are marketing when you start to slow down and you're at the end of a project, well, then you're automatically going to have a lull by the time you put marketing into effect and put marketing out there and it takes effect and then you get a call. And that is, a very seesaw effect in your business, which is almost impossible to manage, project, and really, really grow your business. So always be marketing, no matter how large or small your firm is, no matter how busy or how slow your firm is. You can always manage the inquiries coming through the front door. But if you need the inquiries, it's not necessarily like, oh, let me just turn on the faucet and bring some more in. And this is exactly why Steve says, always be marketing. Now, the question is how much to spend on marketing, right? This is the question. Well, the Small Business Administration recommends that we spend between 5% and 8% of our gross sales revenue in marketing, okay? And this pretty much holds true as long as you're doing under $5 million a year gross and you are actually earning at least 10% of your gross in net profits. Now, 10% of your gross in net profits is a very, very small number. So I hope that you are earning a whole lot more than that, but this is the minimum that they suggest, okay? Now, that's according to the Small Business Administration. What about according to the VinMan? Well, the VinMan, especially in startup mode, I would say from years 1 to 10, he budgeted 10, 15, and sometimes 20% of our gross revenues. And yes, of course, our net profits were always in line. I mean, he's the VinMan, duh, right? So the Vincenz has always taken a very aggressive approach to marketing. And I would say his theory and his actions have borne out, and we have always enjoyed the results of it at WindowWorks, okay? So, and before I go any further with this on how much to spend, I just want to say, if you are not sure of your gross revenue numbers or your net profit numbers, it's okay. It's okay not to know it. We all have to learn it at some point. It's not okay to stay in the dark now, though. So I'm calling you out. If you really are like, I'm not sure what you're talking about, then I want you now to go and call or email either your bookkeeper or your CPA and set up a meeting and just tell them, I need to understand this stuff. I have to have a conversation about it, okay? And I want you to do it now, because if you wait until Q1 to do it, they're not going to want to do it with you. They're going to put you off until after April 15th, okay? And you have to know these numbers. You have to know how to get to them, how to understand them, okay? This is not just to budget your marketing, but it is to be well informed for every decision in your company, from buying equipment to hiring people to paying yourself a decent wage for the hard work that you do, right? Okay, so back to the numbers. Let's take some gross revenues. So if your yearly gross revenue is $50,000, your marketing budget will be $4,000. If your yearly gross revenue is $150,000, your marketing budget will be $12,000. If your yearly gross revenue is $500,000, your budget will be $40,000. If your yearly gross revenue is $1.5 million, your budget will be $120,000. And as you grow to over 2 million, rather than 8%, maybe you can create a heck of a marketing plan with 5%. So if your yearly gross revenue is 5 million, you might budget 250,000, okay? The actual amount you decide to spend will ultimately depend on your goals, your current strategy, and the opportunities that you want to create in the following year for yourself. There is always tweaking. Some years you may need a new website, or maybe you are due for a full rebrand overhaul. For example, in each of my 3 businesses this past year, we invested in 3 new websites over the year. At WindowWorks, we created a new website, shop38east.com. This site launched the B2C of the brand new fabric line designed by our very own Kimberly Seraphim and distributed through Comfortex. Then, because Vin, Bill, and myself became the new majority owners of Exciting Windows, we wanted a fresh new website with clearer brand messaging. So, excitingwindows.biz was built. And guess what? In 2022, I'm launching another podcast for window treatment professionals this time. So, this new website is currently in the works, all right? All of these were investments above and beyond our original budget because they arose during the year. So you create a budget, but you work it, you revise it, and you jigger it to fit your goals. The thing is, when you have a budget, you can decide to go over budget or pull something back when you have a new opportunity. Bottom line, you're not shooting in the dark, right? That's the thing. And I just have to say, my go-to for everything websites and branding is Nicole Heimer of Curio Electro. And I would just love for you to see these new websites that she built for us. So I'm going to put them in the show notes. I'd love for you to take a look. Now, what are the various areas to invest in marketing, right? Where do we put these marketing dollars, okay? Number 1 is digital advertising. And digital advertising would include SEO, right? Search engine optimization, if you want to pay for that service, which obviously I highly suggest that if you're going to do it, you pay for it because this is not for the unskilled, all right? Very effective, but not for the unskilled. Pay-per-click advertising, again, not for the unskilled, okay? You can do anything yourself. Let's be serious. You can do anything yourself. It's just to what level of, what level are you going to do it? And, I always have to think like you want people to hire professionals to do interior design, right? Because they know they're going to get they're going to get a better project when they hire you. Same thing with all this stuff, right? Okay, so digital advertising, review, SEO, pay-per-click, content marketing, whether it be for blog writing or video content, case studies, whatever it is, all right? Social media, and email campaigns. These are all various components that go under the heading of digital marketing that you can choose at any point in your business to invest in, all right? Number 2, print advertising, which might include regional design publications. Maybe you want to put an ad in a magazine in your area that your local clientele could see. Postcard mailers, brochures, maybe Shutterfly type books. There's various services out there where you create a little book of your portfolio and maybe you leave it as a leave behind for potential clients, or you give it away to realtors and builders. I don't know, right? How about ads in your local PTA, religious, or community booklets, whatever they've got available. You know how they put the booklets together for fundraisers and things like that, okay? A third way to invest your marketing money is in networking. And this might include joining your local BNI, your NABO chapter, the National Association of Women Business Owners, or builders associations, okay? Any other small business type associations that maybe your target client is. And that's the thing. Keep in mind, The places you spend your networking dollars and time will be different depending on where your target client hangs out. You just don't do all of it, right? If your target client is young, busy families, you'll probably make the best relationships and contacts by serving on your kids' PTA, volunteering, right? The key is to ask yourself, where do my favorite clients hang out? So think about that. Who are the clients that you love working with, that you just say, oh my goodness, I just love that kind of personality? And if you're not sure, picture one or two of your favorite clients ever. And then ask, are they moms? Are they professional men and women? Are they two career working couples? Are they builders? Are they architects? Whatever the answer is, go where they are. That's how you decide where to spend your networking dollars and time. Okay. And then the fourth way that you can spend and invest in marketing is referral marketing. Maybe you have a thank you strategy for every referral. Maybe you have a yearly thank you strategy for every existing and past client, right? And I have to give a shout out here to my go-to guru for referral marketing, Stacey Brown Randall. She's been on the show several times, and she was a co-author in my second book, the first volume of the Power Talk Friday Experts. She has her own book and podcast, and she teaches all kinds of creative ways to get referrals without asking. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because over 2021, one of my chairman of the board clients, Denise, has been following Stacey's program. And we can trace several of her clients in this past year to the tactics that she has been doing because of Stacey. Now, Denise's business was only a few months old at the beginning of 2021 and therefore had a pretty tight marketing budget. She decided after meeting Stacey in her VIP session at Luann Live last year that she would take some of her startup marketing money and invest it with Stacey. I have to say, I'm impressed with Denise's tenacity in applying herself to the strategies that Stacey has taught her, and we are both, Denise and I, pleased with the results. It proves spend what you can, when you can, but always be marketing, even in startup. And I will put the links in the show notes to Stacey's previous episodes, her book, and her podcast, okay? And then a fifth little category here that I just want to mention is professional photography. You might budget this under project costs or operating costs or marketing costs, depending on your business model, right? All I know is 201, every expert in marketing that specializes in the interior design world has told us invest in quality photography from day one. And I have to say, every designer that we have interviewed that has been successful, that really has looked back and said, these are some of the components that contributed to my success, they also have said the investment of professional photography. Okay. So wherever you put it, just make sure to include a line item somewhere in your overall yearly budget for photography at whatever level you can afford at the level you're at. And you should know where you are, right? And I'm going to include also in the show notes for this episode all of the interviews that I have done with photographers, because each one has shared really terrific insights on how to work with them as professionals and how you can get the best ROI on your investment in professional photography. All right. It's a lot of money and you want to make sure that you're doing it the best you can. Okay. So these episodes will help you. Now, here's the thing. After you look at all of these areas that you can spend money on marketing, what you have to do now is take that figure, whether it was $4,000 or $120,000 or $250,000, and you have to divide that across these areas. All right. How do you do that? How do you decide how much should you spend in each of these areas? Well, it starts with the data. If you've been in business more than a day, you should have data on what and where you spent on marketing in the past and what the ROI is from each spend. Okay. Analyze each line item in last year's marketing spend. What worked? What didn't? Look at the detail in the ROI, not just the specific number of leads or clients you earned. For example, maybe you spent $5,000 on a specific marketing tool and you got 5 projects. But maybe each of these projects, because of the type of the marketing it was, resulted in clients that spent between, say, $5,000 and $20,000. That's not bad. I mean, that's a good ROI. We like that. We'll take that. But maybe somewhere else you spent $30,000 on some marketing initiative, and maybe you got 3 projects, but each of them were between $100K and $300K. Okay? So you have to get in the weeds. Was the marketing that you earned, was the lead and the client you earned from a particular marketing initiative, was it a one-off thing or was it a valid, repeatable strategy? The thing is to follow the money, all right? So we want to look at 2 results from our marketing. How many leads we got, but how many conversions did we get? So at WindowWorks, we might get 20 leads if we run an ad in a regional magazine. And we're going to expect to convert about 70% of those, all right? So, but the thing is, to decide if I'm going to run a regional magazine ad again, we have to look at both numbers because one magazine might yield on average 20 leads, and maybe, for whatever reason, every time we only convert 30% of those. Right? That's a big difference. If that happens once, okay, so my sales team is asleep at the wheel. But if it happens every time, there's something about the quality of that lead, right? It's probably not my actual ideal target client because they're calling, but then when we get out to meet them, they're not buying. And so that means maybe I'm not hitting my target client. Or, right, maybe when we analyze a particular regional magazine for print advertising, we might find that one is always yielding about 20 leads. We're consistently closing about 70%, but another one is only on average yielding 5 leads. Maybe we're closing the same 70%, but it's consistently yielding less leads. So you see, I have to get all the way in and look at all of the detail. And you should be capturing all of this detail, whether you have a CRM or you have an Excel spreadsheet or you have a legal pad of paper. I don't care. You have to capture the information because this is how you're going to make intelligent, informed decisions year after year. Okay? You just can't plan where you want to go if you're not tracking where you've been. Okay. And I have to say, even if you're at the beginning of your company, like Denise was, you still have to decide on a spend. All right. And at this point, it's going to be a mix of an educated decision and throwing spaghetti at the wall. I know it is. It was the same when we started with WindowWorks many, many years ago. All right. And you will, for sure, lean on less costly marketing in the beginning. But the main point is to spend on marketing. Spend what you can afford and what makes sense, but always be marketing. All right. I have to say, I feel like I only scratched the surface here. In fact, I know that I did. I absolutely know that I only scratched the surface. But unless this is going to be a 3-hour podcast, I'm going to leave it here. All right. And the big takeaway, always be marketing, budget according to your gross revenue, and track the actual results in number of leads, number of closed clients, and dollar earned on each of those. Okay. All righty. Listen, before I go, if you're listening today in real time in 2021, it is Giving Tuesday. What will you do for someone or for a worthwhile organization? Did you think about it? I hope you will consider something. We all have time or money to spend. We each can do something. And if you're looking for an idea, one that will help someone else and quite possibly help you too in the process, I encourage you to join me this week, December 2nd, 2021, for Inside Voice, Outside Voice. Half of every ticket price of Inside Voice, Outside Voice always goes to the charity. And this week, the charity is Pay Away the Layaway. This organization surprises people by paying away their layaway with donations from people like us. How cool is that? I just love that. I just love thinking about the smile on somebody's face. And if you haven't heard of Inside Outside Voice yet, this is where each month I show up with you for a live Zoom session. And we talk about the challenges in your business in our inside voice, meaning it's the straight talk. It's no nonsense. Okay. They're not recorded. It's me and you talking. All right. And then I help you translate that inside voice to outside voice. The right words that you need to use to get a win-win with your clients, your trades, employees. Sometimes it's also me talking to the inside voice in your head and talking to the outside voice in your head, right? Sometimes we need to have a little chat with ourselves to get straight to. Whatever it is, whatever you want to ask, share, talk about with me, you can. All right. This month, we are going to kick off the discussion about your year end, all of this stuff for year end tips and plannings, all the things. So if you've been listening to this series and you've got some questions, okay, Luann, yeah, but then come on over to the Zoom session for Inside Voice, Outside Voice on December 2nd, 2021 and ask me your specific question. That's the cool thing about this. It really is me and you having a conversation. Okay. So go to InsideVoiceOutsideVoice.com to register. All right. Thank you tons for joining me today. I always appreciate it so much. Decide to be excellent. Thank you so much for joining me again today. This podcast is a production of WindowWorks, your resource for custom window treatments and awnings. To learn how we can help you on your next interior design project, go to www.windowworks-nj.com. And if you're interested in working with me on your business, either through masterminds or one-on-one coaching, or you want to know how to get my book, The Making of a Well-Designed Business, or you just want to know what's going on in the podcast land and where I'm going to be. All of that is found at luannigara.com. Thank you so much. Have an excellent day.